Well, hello, my friends. Yes, it's me. Nanny has somewhat recovered from her technical stresses of the past 5 days. I am so sorry to have had a lapse of talking and seeing you, but what happened was I made a video and I was in the process of uploading it. And I fortunately have saved on my camera some of the individual videos that I put together to make this picture, to make this video. However, the original video, all made up with the thumbnail and everything, was lost during uploading. It was almost there when my iPad, which is what I upload on, died. Dead, gone. And I tried to recover it all sorts of ways with the help of looking up technical support, whatever. Fortunately, my iCloud, which I don't understand anything about the iCloud, I get very frustrated with it because sometimes it pulls things up into the iCloud. I say, hey, wait a minute, I don't want that up there. Bring it down. When I try and get it down, it won't come. Whatever that's all about, I don't understand it. But thank heavens for iCloud backup that I did have, because it had saved everything up to a couple of days before I started to process that video. So that video was lost. Hello, my dear friends. Before I begin, I want to express my sincere thanks for all your comments and condolences about Shamu. Honestly, Moosey and I were overwhelmed reading all your comments, and it was so evident that you had the same love and affection for our sweet Shamu as we do. And I know that for, almost 6 years now, you have watched Shamu, and so many of you that I have never heard from before, but I know from what you've been saying that you've been watching us all that time. And from those of you that do comment constantly, your comments they were just so touching to our hearts. And I know Shamu would have loved it too. So thank you so much. We're doing fine. And I am also. I can't tell you how many times Shamu goes through my mind, and I know that it's during a day, and I know this will lessen as time goes on, because so many of you have been through this. And you know what? So have we. We, through our lifetime with the children, and I'm going to tell you a funny rabbit hole story about my dog that we had when we were children, and that one is hysterical. It's not funny. Well, it's a story that is probably believable. My mother's feelings were the ones that really got into that story about our childhood dog called Dinah. And maybe I'll tell that story later on. But isn't it amazing how pets become so much a part of our lives? Honestly, especially those of us who have had a pet for so long. Really, I know you've heard me talking to Shamu as if he's one of my children or one of my grandchildren. And sometimes when he looks up at me, I know he's hearing me. So, but anyway, I know it will take time to get over this, especially with your help. And once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your comments and for all your caring about our sweet Shamu. Well, it's Saturday morning, quite early, and I was up early this morning, mainly because yesterday, and I'm going to put some reels on here of our day yesterday. I guess I'll start off with telling you what Moosey and I did yesterday. He came up with the idea that maybe we should just get out and do something that we would do in a simple day of our lives. And that would be just to get out and go and have one of our little car picnics and maybe an outing somewhere. Well, we stopped at our Wiener Schnitzel, one of our famous car picnic spots. Moosey's eating his fries. And what's that you have on your lap there? Is that the rest of your hot dog? Now, what's the saying you love?
I never met a hot dog I didn't like.
Right. Oh, we get the all beef here. We used to get what back east? Tell me about what we used to get back in Rutherford, in New Jersey.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. Rutt's Hut. I wonder if Rutt's Hut is still around. Also, on the video that died in progress, I had also taken some pictures of the day that the grandsons, Margie's 3 sons and her hubby Mike, came up and put up my patio. So we have beautiful shade now, and I've already sat out there for quite a while under that shade. So has Moosey. And they put up the patio, and then I served them a really fun lunch. They all sat around, and they had roast beef sandwiches and guy stuff, potato chips and potato salad. And I bought a 12-pack of Budweiser beer for them. So it was so nice seeing the boys talking and laughing to each other. They did a great job on the patio. So I took 1 or 2 little clips of that too, which were saved from my camera on my camera. So I'll be able to put those on this video. So this video is going to show you some of the things that had died in the last video that I was going to show you. So it's a mixed match of everything. But the main thing is we're back, and hopefully we're back to stay. I know I have to get out and cut Moosey's hair before the sun gets too strong. We might have to move into the shade under the new patio, which I have pictures, by the way, of the day we put up the patio. And I will share a few of those little videos too with you. That went quickly. You guys are pretty good.
I can too.
Because it looks like, yeah, it looks like.
My guys, my wonderful grandsons, and my wonderful son-in-law, Mike. These are all Margie and Mike's kids. Thank you so much. I love you all so much. So, who was the brains of the deal? Tell me.
Yeah.
Mike, Dad.
I was the orchestrator, so.
You were the orchestrator. Moosey came up with the idea that yesterday, which was the day after we lost Shamu, we should do something just to get out and to get our minds off it, or particularly my mind. And so he suggested that we go out to the feed store, since we needed birdseed anyway, and maybe have a car lunch at one of our favorite places. And lately, it's been Wiener Schnitzel. I used to call it Der Wiener Schnitzel, which Wussy says means the Wiener Schnitzel, whatever Wiener Schnitzel means. And they have the greatest hot dogs. And Moosey's favorite saying is, I never met a hot dog that I didn't love. And of course, he remembers the Nathan hot dogs from New York City and Rutt's Hut back in Bergen County. That was one of his favorite places. In fact, every time we ever went back to New Jersey, that's the first place we had to go, even sometimes on the way home from the airport. So everybody has their favorite place to stop. When Matthew was in college back in Massachusetts, his favorite place to stop on the way home when he would fly into LA airport would be Del Taco, because they didn't have those kinds of things back in the East Coast. So that was his way back in the day when Matt was in college. And all the other kids had their favorite places. Mostly it was Del, mainly because my favorite place was always Del. Boy, I'm on a gab this morning, aren't I? So I had to go finally up to Apple the day before yesterday and realized that I had to bite the bullet and purchase a new iPad, which I did. And then it was a problem of passcodes trying to get through and whatever. That's another story, but I'm not going to go into the changed and lost passwords of years and years in all the different things we have. I know you've all suffered from that. But when the salesman finally, we finished the transaction, he started the re-uploading process. Now, my big worry was whether or not I lost everything on my iPad. 6 years. My iPad, by the way, was 6 years old. So I knew that rather than get a new battery and pay for that, which would probably cost a couple $100 by the time they have to open up the machine, it's not something I could do, that I had to bite the bullet and get a new iPad. But I was hoping to get a trade-in on my old iPad, which I would have gotten if it was working. Unfortunately, because it was dead, there wasn't really much hope whatsoever. So that turned out to be a wash. But as the salesman was uploading or re-uploading because I did it on my phone, the pictures and the individual video clips are still there. So I'm going to be able to put some of that on this video. And this is just, I am so stressed as of today. It's Wednesday at 3:30, that I think my problem of at least being able to upload a video to you has been solved with the help, once again, by wonderful grandchildren. And in this case, it was my Brendan. Brendan is now home from college. Thank heavens. Very techy, as his sister Ryan and Shannon are. And I thought I spent all day yesterday going through trying to put passwords back on all my apps. And when I realized I had about 27 or 28 apps on there, all different things, from Facebook to Instagram to PicMonkey and all the things that I use to make a video, including, of course, YouTube and Google and Chrome and Safari and everything, you need a password for it, which I had, but on 100 different pages, we were not organized with that. Plus, there had been some changing of passwords here and there that I wasn't aware of, and a lot of cross-outs, but that's another stress factor that I'm not going to go into. However, I started that yesterday morning and started trying to get organized and realizing that I wasn't able to get into my working YouTube. Now, I could, on my phone, which right now is recording this video, I could watch videos and I could get into various things. That wasn't lost. Everything on my phone wasn't lost. But the ability to upload and create on my iMovie, which was on my iPad, all that, the makings of a video, to be able to talk to you and get this uploaded to YouTube, that was unavailable because it was all on my iPad. I just want to get this over and sent to you. So I had made another appointment to go up to Apple today to see if some nice gentleman could help me to get this on. And then my dear Brendan came down to see Moose and perhaps to start some garden work. And he came in, he said, "Nanny, is there anything I can do to help you?" I said, "Oh, Brendan, sit down." And do you know, within about 5 minutes, he found a way to get into I had already used my my passwords to get in, but I couldn't navigate it to get to the right things. He did it for me, and that was about 1 hour ago. And I thought, wow, I'm going to get dressed, get my makeup on, and I'm going to talk to my ladies and get this out, because I know you've all been asking, am I okay? And the last video I put out was, of course, losing my poor Shamu. But the next video that I had made just 2 days later was about my recovery day, which Moosey had planned a nice little car outing where we went out to lunch and we visited a feed store where we bought some bird seed, and it was a nice outing, which sort of got my mind off everything, and it was a nice day. And I showed you things like my tomatoes and what's growing in my garden. I have gladiolas coming out, and remember that tulip bucket out there that I thought I was going to have tulips come? Turned out to be gladiolas, and I have 3 or 4 big gladiolas coming up in there. So I'm putting some of that on this video, including what I could save from the other video, to make a long story short. So I'm back, and let's hope I stay back for a while. I still have a lot of techie work to do, but I think now that Brendan's here to help me, I don't have to go back to Apple, and that's a chore, walking through the mall to get there and everything too. So this morning when I was out in the garden quite early, I took some pictures of all my gladiolas starting to come out. Now they're not flowering yet, but I can tell I have some purple ones, I have some shrimp colored ones, and they're looking gorgeous. They're huge, very tall. I also have those surprise gladiolas that I thought were tulips, but they're gladiolas. I took pictures of some of my heirloom tomatoes still on there, and a few other things. Oh, for Father's Day, I gave Moosey 2 beautiful red hummingbird feeders. Now they're red glass. So many of you told me, Nanny, you have to get something red for them. Well, boy, were you right, my friends, and thank you so much. I found these glass ones that are beautiful. Everything's red, and I didn't have to buy any red liquid, the feeding liquid. I bought some regular. I didn't want to make my own. Has the red bottom with the little yellow things that were so perfect for them. It's easy to fill up. We hung them up on Monday after Father's Day, and sure enough, well, I'll have one up right now. All of a sudden, a pair of hummingbirds came, and we've had them ever since. So that has turned out to be great. I'm still going to hang a red ribbon on my pretty blue glass one, but since we have hummingbirds just clamoring for the red feeder, we're okay. And wait till you see, I have been keeping my little box of green tomatoes with the banana in it, which is quite black, and I think it has given off most of its ethane, whichever the gas is that comes from the banana to ripen the tomatoes. I have already picked out probably 5 or 6 that ripened. This one is an heirloom. You can tell by all the bumps, and it looks so good. Sandwiches, here we go. Cherry tomatoes have started to ripen, so I'm starting to pick those off the vine, the little tiny ones. They're great in salads. I have one of my heirloom tomatoes starting to ripen. One already did. These were ready to fall off the vine. Those 2 have ripened, and as they ripen, I keep taking them out and putting them in here. Aren't they lovely looking? Here's one of the avocados, the Haas avocados from California, La Habra Heights, right where we used to live. These I picked up 5 for $4 at the feed store the day I went, and that was the video that never made it. And they're really hard. And so I'm going to put one in here with the old banana and the tomatoes and see how that goes. Here are the avocados, fresh from the trees in La Habra Heights, where we lived all those years. Now this is the Haas, original La Habra Heights avocado. Oh, yeah. That are red, since it was about a week ago that I started this. And as I pick them out and the green ones start to ripen, I keep putting the green ones in. And one banana has been doing the job great. So I took a picture of that this morning too, to show you my progress on my ripening of green tomatoes. I don't think anything else is going on, except we had a wonderful Father's Day up at Margie's. We all went up. We took a beautiful family pictures, and I took some pictures of some of my little great-grandchildren.
Yeah. I've seen people do
Which there was
people or like another, like they love like.
We had a great day, and that's been about it, other than trying to work on my iPad. I will sign off on this, and thank you so much for your patience, for all your caring about Shamu, and I've already said that in the last video, which I'm going to hopefully put little parts on. Thank you, my friends, so much. I know you love Shamu as much as I did, and I am getting used to his absence. It's hard, and I see so many reminders of him around and in photos that keep popping up. And thank you so much for staying with me here. And let's get back to business, to putting up a couple of those videos a week and talking about so many other things. Meanwhile, since I was able to get on Amazon, I did a little bit of retail therapy to get me my mind off my problems. And I have some new things in the way of some fashion things. And I have been promising you the things that I've picked up in the way of some makeup lately. So maybe in the next video, we'll show you some of those things in the way of fashions and some makeup and a few other things that we're going to get off the problems of technical problems and stress. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here with us, my friends. See you real soon, I hope. And God bless us all.